All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 14th installment of Wrestling Hypothesis Extra, the secondary show of the Wrestling Hypothesis podcast for your Wednesday, November 11th, 2020. Hope everyone listening is doing very well. I am Dave B. Of course. Joining me this week is Ricardo.
What's up, guys?
And King, Kenny.
Did y'all miss me? Y'all missed me, didn't you? It's okay, but I'm here. We're ready. The King is back. Let's get going.
Yeah. Tara had a lot to say about you not being on the podcast
don't worry.
earlier this weekend.
Don't worry. I know she missed me. So I'll be there. I think we'll see each other in person next week. So don't worry. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. I must have forgot, but I'm here to remind y'all who I am.
Yep. Before anything else, guys, you know what to do. For those listening to the show right as we speak, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on the series whenever we decide to drop at any time throughout the week. Just go ahead, do that. Go ahead, click subscribe, like, share, and comment as well so you guys can stay interactive. That's all we ask for. If you haven't done so already, you can check out episode 43 from this past week in the archives using any of the platforms we are available on if you haven't done so already, as well as visiting our own website, anchor.fm/wrestling-hypothesis. With that out of the way, let's get into it with the news. This will be a pretty AEW heavy episode of Extra this week. First things first, AEW had their AEW Games conference last night, the first of which of many, I'm sure, soon to come in the coming years, where we had no less than 3 video games under the AEW banner officially announced, 2 of them being mobile games, and the third being the most heavily anticipated, of course, a console video game playable on the current and next-gen consoles. They did not reveal the release date. I'm assuming it'll be released sometime next year. The console game will be. And from the early footage we've seen, the game looks all right. A more arcade approach to it rather than anything simulation-based that we've gotten used to with the 2K games under the 2K banner for WWE. Hey, I'm just going to say this. As long as the game works and it's a fun game to play and it's an enjoyable experience, then that's all I'm hoping for.
Well, Kenny goes
Excuse
first.
me.
My bad.
Yeah. Exactly.
My
See,
bad.
Albert, that's what I'm saying.
There's a hierarchy.
They must have forgot. Right. They must have forgot. But I'm here to remind y'all. Okay. Now, a lot of people are saying this game isn't too hot. It's not like they don't exactly feel it, just because, as you alluded to, Abba, we've seen this before, and we've gotten used to the simulation based game. So in a arcade game like this wouldn't feel right just to go back to it, right? It feels like we're going like fucking 10, 15 years back in time.
They're comparing it constantly to the new WWE Battlegrounds arcade game.
Right.
That came out.
However, I do feel like for their first time, this is a great step in the right direction, man. If the game has exactly what fans want, GM mode, right? And that's a big deal. Okay, GM mode, my career mode, something, substantial that the fans can really get behind, because 2K hasn't done that. At least effectively, in the past 5, 6, maybe 7 years that they've had the WWE contract.
It was 5 years. 5 years.
Okay, yeah. So and it seems like the games have regressed, ever since the old days. I can't remember. Like, I can remember playing, I think 07 was the last one, maybe 08, but 07 was really the last one that felt like a wrestling game. Right? That's telling. That's incredibly, crazy to even think that we haven't gotten a quality wrestling game in over 10 fucking years. So it's definitely a breath of fresh air to see AEW coming into this spectrum, and it seems like they actually have a legit division for this, like an AEW Games division that works on this, where WWE just signs their contract over to Ukes, THQ, or 2K Games. they don't have the pulse of the fans, right, at the tip of their fingers. So, but I feel like that's what AEW does differently. You know, they're always thinking, they're always innovating, and they're always coming with these ideas, right, based on what fans want. You know, don't you think Kenny Omega has a pulse on what the fans want in terms of, you know, in games? Of course he does. Of course he does. Why
He's a gamer.
make
He's a gamer to heart.
right? Exactly. Why make a division like that? You know, if you're not going to listen to the fans, you know. So I think this is a breath of fresh air. I cannot wait for, you know, the actual console game to come out. I'm not really that big of a, you know, mobile gamer, so, you know, I don't really, you know, touch that. But, you know, in terms of console games, I can't wait to see, you know, what the finished product is. And we don't even know anything about the console game. You know, all we've seen is just footage, but we don't know what modes are in there. You know, what you can do in terms of, you know, is there a career? Is there you know, a manager mode there? Like, what is it, right, that we can actually get excited about the game? We haven't seen that yet. That's what I wish they would have revealed. At least maybe not all your nuts and bolts and nuggets, but just some of it, you know, or just give us a glimpse of what to expect, you know, in terms of what to do in the game. But outside of that, man, I think it was a great presentation, man. I like the Kenny Omega get up Steve Jobs imitation thing, man. That was fucking gold, man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Followed by Aubrey Edwards, Britt Baker, Cody, all following that
Cody,
same gimmick. Fucking loved it.
Yeah, that was fucking great, man. Loved it. You can go now, Ricardo.
This nigga dead ass. This nigga.
He
This nigga.
delegates the duties to you now. Go ahead.
This nigga dead ass went like 8 minutes talking. Okay.
Oh, he kept track. Okay.
Eddie, damn right I kept track. Anyway,
It wasn't 8 minutes, but go ahead.
Whatever. In terms of the AEW games, I play more video games than Kenny. Kenny knows this, right?
And you still can't beat my ass in 2K.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Nigga, we're talking NBA 2K, I could whoop your ass. Okay? WWE 2K
Barely.
ain't really it. Get on PlayStation right now. Put up the bread on NBA 2K. Anyway.
I don't really fuck with NBA.
Not right
2K.
now. We got something to finish, guys.
Yeah. Oh, please, Alba, you need to understand about playing NBA 2K. Shut up. Anyway, the AEW to AEW games, all I gotta see is, like, I just want to see more in terms of what they have to offer, right? For Kenny, you said since 2007, SmackDown vs. Raw, that was like the best video game you've played for wrestling.
No, it wasn't the best video game wrestling.
It was
I
the last
played.
time
It was
he
the last one
really
last
cared
time?
about
Okay.
it.
they actually, you know, did right.
Right. All I'm saying is this: like, I just want to, I want to see what's going to be different now compared to what they did with WWE, because Ukes was the developer of WWE for like a long period of time, and THQ. At the time, they had a good track record before like the PS3 and later on the PS4 came out, and you know that it's gone to shit, right? So I'm looking forward to what the AEW Games has to offer to bring to the table. If they could peel the stuff that Ukes have done with previous WWE games, but make it even much more better, I'm pretty confident that AEW Games would obviously succeed the WWE 2K games. Because the problem is with WWE is that, like, they don't get into deep correlation into what they truly want with their video games. Like if they gave it to 2K, right? 5 years ago, they gave it to 2K, and WWE told 2K, like, yo, y'all handle this. We want nothing to do with the video games, right? And unfortunately, 2K doesn't even know what to do with the video games itself, because they've never been in that route in terms of wrestling. So technically, it's their first time in the WWE wrestling atmosphere to try to correlate with the fans, and they're doing a terrible job, right? But AEW, will see what happens with the AEW games. Hopefully, they'll have more to offer, and honestly, I'm gonna give it a shot because I want to see what AEW brings to the table differently than WWE. So that's all I got to say about that.
Hell yeah, their first go around, making an official console game under the AEW product
Yeah.
Like
And-
it can
Mhm.
like it's only going to get better from there. I feel like they'll have a lot of experience. They'll have a lot of room to grow in the coming years with making AEW games. So it'll be fun
I
to
would
see.
I would say this though, because like they gotta hit the market in a big way. Like in a big way, because like it's the new next generation, right? It's not the PS4 or Xbox One. There's the PS5 and the Xbox Series S. And
Mhm.
like
Yep.
they got one shot. If they don't succeed in this one, if I was a fan, I would tell Cody Rhodes, don't even think about making another game. Sure, you got one shot. You got to make this shit count.
Yeah, it's all about first impressions here, I think. And
Absolutely.
the fact that, you know, WWE came out with great games in the past doesn't help AEW in this sense, because there's a
Exactly.
lot of pressure on you to get the first one right.
Right.
You know, if you don't get the first one right, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. It's over from there.
It's similar. Do you guys remember when TNA made a video game?
Right.
It
In
did
like
it did
2009 or something.
exactly. When TNA made a video game, it wasn't as good. Like it wasn't good. Like at first when we saw like he was like, oh shit, this shit is crazy. I didn't expect TNA to make a video game. But then over the time when you saw the gamer score, we saw more in depth with the graphics and shit like that, the modes, it wasn't as good. It wasn't up to par what it's supposed to be compared to past WWE games. So that's what I'm saying. When you hit that next gen, you better hit hard. Cause like if you mess up, your stock, it's only video games. It's cutthroat. The
Yep.
video game consoles
Yep.
is cutthroat game. It's a
Yo,
cutthroat game.
for
Mhm.
real. It's either you hit it or you miss, and then you fall flat on your flat on your face.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
yeah, there's no room for error there, man.
That's why like the top two is Microsoft and Sony. Cutthroat. Back then it was Nintendo, it was Sony, it was Microsoft, it was all that shit. Sega, and then now it's just the top two, Microsoft and Sony. So like in terms of AEW, I really hope they make this shit work. If not, we just move on to the next one. I'm just gonna be focused on my Spider-Man game. I'm gonna be focused on NBA 2K. My man Kenny plays God of War. He's gonna focus on God of War.
Yep.
Can't wait.
God
I
of
can't-
War, man.
I can't wait for that one. God of War. Go ahead, Alba.
No, I got it.
Oh,
Yeah, but just to close it off there in this news, it'll be
Let's
interesting to see how they grow from the first year game, and how the first year game, this first go around at making a console video game for AEW will work out. So let's see, hoping for the best. Hoping as long as it's a fun game that works, then you know it'll be a success in my book. Full Gear took place this past Saturday night, which overall an excellent show. Probably the best AEW event all year, which was honestly not an easy thing to accomplish, seeing how the level of quality is on these shows on average. And it was a huge bounce back from the lackluster All Out show we saw in September. How we're going to be doing it here is we're going to pick apart some of the key matches that did stick out to us the most, and just we have a set of questions, a good set of interesting questions to go about with these corresponding matches. For the women's title match on the show, Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida. Honestly, I was not really interested in it at all. Going into it, they've given us practically no reason to care due to the lack of build they've given the two. And honestly, it was still a decent match. We've seen better matches from the two women, and this was sloppy and a bit forgettable. Probably the weakest match of the entire pay-per-view, I would say. But honestly, it's, you know what? I don't know if Ricardo has anything to say. Go ahead, man, if you have anything.
Well, to me, like I think Sheeta has it. Well, you can't really take this last match with a grain of salt and critique it based on her performance on that. You gotta look at the past times that she's wrestled either to defend the title or when she fought for the title. In the past three events, honestly, in the past three events that she's either fought for the title or defended the title, she's been money. She's impressed me personally, right? Because she's a hardcore female that knows how to fight her way in the wrestling ring. She's honestly and possibly the best female talent in AEW. Like honestly, like if you look at the whole list of females they have in AEW, Shida is honestly number one from a talent perspective. Is Nyla Rose better than her from a talent perspective? Is Britt Baker? Is Big Swole? Is any other female better than her in AEW in the ring?
Well, when you say talent wise, are we referring to overall talent, or are we talking about just
In the
purely
ring?
from an in-ring standpoint?
I'm talking about in the ring.
Okay, because if we're being honest, like I think Britt Baker's a much more compelling character overall
Okay,
than
that's
Hikaru
character.
Shida is.
Yes, but I said in ring. In ring.
Okay.
There's
No,
difference between
that's why I wanted to
character
clarify.
and
That's why
in-ring. Yes,
I wanted the
sure.
clarification.
No problem with that. In terms from an entertainment standpoint, Britt Baker got that shit hands down. I'm not even gonna debate with you on that. You got that on that. But in-ring talent, Shida got that. I don't understand how anyone could say like, yo, Shida's not the best female in AEW as an in-ring talent on AEW. She's number one in AEW. Go ahead, bro.
So I do feel like this match was left a lot to be desired, and I definitely get where you're coming from. It was definitely forgettable. But I do feel like we're so quick to forget what Shida has done throughout an entire title reign, right? It's been pretty impressive from the standpoint of the in-ring talent, obviously, right? And I think that's what AEW does better than any other promotion out there, is that they actually reward in-ring talent regardless of your mic skills or anything like that, right? And Shida she's a result of that, right? Of that willingness to bet on talent in the ring, to actually drive your character. I haven't seen that in a really long time. So the question is, we all know she's the best female in AEW, at least in terms of talent. She's fought everybody. No offense to Britt Baker, but Britt is not on that level in the ring. Period. Okay.
Exactly.
There are levels to this.
I'm not gonna front. Wait, before I to cut you off, I honestly think that should be like our new slogan. Like the wrestling hypothesis, there are levels to this under that shit. Like we see that shit all the time. I really feel like we should have that slogan. I have no problem.
That's Kenny's.
You're
thing,
welcome.
So.
Okay.
You're welcome. But
whatever.
anyway,
Meek Mill said it first. Letting you know.
Okay. So with all that being said, I definitely think the question begs, is she not only the best in AEW, right? But guys, if you're the best in AEW, doesn't that make you one of the best in the world? If not number one, obviously, right? Because I do believe that right goes to some of the women in the WWE. But when you're talking about top 10, I think Shida cracks that top 10, right? Like who in the indies right now would you say is better than Shida? Like actually better than Shida in the ring? There ain't too many people you'll put over her.
Not a whole lot, no.
Right. So if you're talking simply top 10, I realize this top 5 could be a stretch. Okay.
You'd have to really think about that.
Right. You really, really have to think about that. But top 5, it is a stretch. But with the absence of Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, she can crack the top 5, right? If you really, really try to make a case for her. But it's debatable. It's incredibly debatable. But like I said, hold up. With the absence of Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte, yes, you can make a case. I don't think she'll win though. I don't think she'll win that though.
No.
Top 10 is much, much safer.
Yep.
So I do feel like she's one of the top 10 females in professional wrestling.
I would say she's in the lower, like 8, 9, 10. Would y'all agree with that? 8, 9, 10 should be around that mark.
Yeah, back end, definitely.
Yeah, at the back end. Yeah, and that's not a knock at all. Like being in the top 10,
it's not. But the thing is, that's also a measure of the people that she's faced. right?
Right.
Like AEW women's division isn't really that like there's
It's a
no
stack.
depth of talent there. You know
Right.
what I mean? Right? Like once you start to go three, you three deep, and then number four, you don't know who the fuck that is. Number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you don't know
They
who
might have
that
to
is.
just
Everything
end up going
AEW.
back to feuds and rehash them like they did with Nyla Rose.
Right, exactly. Or at this point, just take the title off Shida and then put it on
Right.
somebody else. But I do feel right that remember you guys remember what happened to Riho, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's nowhere to be found now. You
We
know,
haven't seen
MIA.
her once since the pandemic.
right.
Exactly.
At least I don't. At
MIA.
least from what I remember.
Is she still even employed by AEW? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. But Japanese wrestlers, when they can't connect with the audience through their through their voice, they seem to fade into the background when they don't have that title anymore, because that title is the only thing that keeps them afloat. You know, like Ricardo always alluded to, if you're not talking, I ain't listening, right? Like it's not even, that's not even a debate. So for Shida, the title means a lot more to her than somebody like Nyla Rose, who has Vicky Guerrero, or Britt Baker, who can talk, with her eyes closed, while sleeping. Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely going to be tough, to see what happens with her. But I do think she's pound for pound, man. If we had a pound for pound for women's wrestling, she'd be right up there with the best of them.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. Moving on here, we also had Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin for the AEW TNT Championship. Honestly, these two, not surprising to me, had an excellent match. These two, I've said on the show earlier this weekend, always come through whenever they have a match together. That crossroads from the top rope spot was just insane.
I
Purely
thought that was gonna be
insane.
the finish.
Right. I've never seen that
I thought it
before
should
from
have ended
Cody.
over there. I thought it should have ended.
Yeah.
Because like, how do you get up from that, man?
Well, he didn't. The story was Darby had his, I think his maybe his hands, his arms over
How's he
like
even
the
how's
bottom
he even
rope or something.
conscious, bro? Like that's what I want to know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I mean,
but
we did see.
hey, listen.
We also saw John
Wait,
Cena
hold
did
up.
it.
But hold up.
What?
He didn't put his feet on the ropes. It was
It was
already
underneath the
under it,
bottom
right?
rope.
Okay,
Yeah.
then that's fine.
But
That's fine.
hey, if
He
anything,
wasn't conscious.
the
He
blame
was actually
goes
not conscious.
the blame goes on Cody being the in-ring general we all expect him to be.
Uh-huh.
He could have just dragged him back inside the ring, closer to the middle. I don't know.
True.
Yeah, but
True.
maybe see the
Got carried
time
away with
wasted
that.
to drag
Right.
Darby gives him more time to eventually kick out. So I definitely get what Cody's coming from. You want to cover him straight away.
I guess. Yeah. The finish was both Rhodes and Allin trading roll-ups, and Darby got the 3 count on Cody on one of them, and he is the new TNT champion. Cody personally gave him the belt after the match, and before anything else, we see Taz come out and talk shit to both of them, and both Brian Cage and Ricky Starks ambush them from behind, drags Allin to ringside, and puts him through one of the stage sets. They then went to his vehicle that he came in with his entrance before Will Hobbs ran down to help Darby, and they backed off, and that is how they ended the segment. Honestly, it's great that AEW already positioned a few challengers for Darby Allin now that he is the new champion in Cage and Starks. I probably would have saved this beatdown segment for Darby for Dynamite later tonight, because the man just won the title and you want to give him the moment properly, but hey, they went with something else. So now I got to ask you guys, since based off everything I just said about this match, do you guys feel that Darby Allin is able to have the sort of impact that Cody had as TNT champion?
Well, my answer is very simple, and it's no. Just because of who Darby Allin is, his character is not, exactly. I mean, he's charismatic, but in his own way, and he gets in his own way a lot of times. And we've kind of, and he kind of, bites off more than he can chew. So for those reasons alone, I don't think that he'll have the same success as Cody. He's just not as charismatic. People don't, I mean, people listen to him when he talks, but it's a different type of listen. You know what I mean? Cody had that impactful voice, and where he comes in, he says what he says, and people are, hyped talking about it weeks later. But can y'all remember what Darby Allin said 2 weeks ago?
No.
There's a reason why you don't. Okay. And no, it's no knock to Darby Allin, man, but there are levels to this. I keep saying this shit. Okay. There are levels to this. No knock, no disrespect towards Darby Allin, man, but I can only see this, title reign 3 months at most. And then it goes around again, because I just don't think he has that, a long lasting feel to it. Think about how he won against Cody. A lot of people might say it was luck,
Could be.
still a win, but it was kind of cheap. You know what I mean? Like it was like Darby won by the skin of his teeth.
It wasn't really like a definitive win.
Right. It wasn't a decisive victory.
Right,
It
but
wasn't
you can accept that kind of finish off the back end of like 15, 20 minutes of a competitive back and forth, rather than like 2 minutes and
Of
with
course,
barely
of
any
course.
action.
Of course.
That's luck right there.
But hold up, Abba. Would you say after watching that match that Darby has surpassed Cody?
No.
Yeah. Like, think about it, guys. Sometimes, right, when we watch like, okay, you know what? I'll give you the perfect example. The first match Cody had with Brody Lee, right, for the TNT title. Right. At that point, we knew, yo, Cody ain't ready for this guy. He's not ready for this man. Okay. All right. And Cody clearly hasn't, had a lot of work to do to surpass, Brody Lee. He had to get into that mentality.
Yep.
That he had to change his game set, his game plan, to kind of not only match Brody, but he had to show that he wanted it more than Brody Lee, right? But I never got a set like, but compare that title win, right? That Cody had against, that he had against this guy, Brody Lee, right? And compare that title win with what Darby Allin had with Cody Rhodes. There's a difference there, right? It's not like a, it's not a very good. I know it's not a perfect comparison, but it makes you feel like the road that Darby took to get to this point, right, was just a roll, like it was a roll up pin. It resulted in a roll up pin. And if that's how you feel about Darby Allin, you couldn't just let him beat Cody like decisively 1, 2, 3. You just couldn't let him do that, huh? So
Right.
for me, that tells me a lot about how they feel about Darby and how they feel about his title reign, how his title reign is going to go. He ain't going to be dominant champion.
I mean, Darby Allin has never been known, to be fair, to be a dominant wrestler. He's always been that kind of underdog.
The
Right,
thing is,
exactly.
he
Go ahead.
lacks the wrestling. He lacks the pure wrestling skill to defend the title. That's the bottom line.
I would not go that far. I don't know about that.
I would. You know why? Because if you look back on that match, or almost any match that he's had before, his opponent carried the match. Cody Rhodes carried that match most likely this past Full Gear. And look, if you like, Abba, look back onto each match, the past 3 matches that Darby Allin has had, including this one. Cody Rhodes, he fought Chris Jericho before, and he fought what's that nigga's name again? With Taz? What's his name?
Ricky Starks.
No, the other one.
Brian Cage.
Brian Cage. They carried him to the match, right? And it turns so pretty much he lacks the wrestling skill to truly defend like a legitimate match from start to finish to defend that title. He also lacks the entertainment standpoint of the promo work, to gravitate towards fans, towards the screen. It's like, you know what? It's similar to like, if they try to make like Darby Allin, similar to like a Jeff Hardy, but in his younger days. Like the charismatic enigma, Daredevil. Darby Allin ain't no Jeff Hardy. Okay? He ain't no Jeff Hardy. AEW tries to make him Jeff Hardy, but you ain't in the same ball game as Jeff Hardy. Because when Jeff Hardy tries to do it, when he gravitates towards fans, it's his charismatic that brings us fans like me and Ken who are diehard fans of Jeff Hardy. Like we defend Jeff Hardy to the grave, right? When it comes to Darby Allin, it ain't like that. The niggas young, breath smelling like Similac. The niggas wet behind the ear. The dude's a rookie into the game. He can't defend the TNT title. Now, if it was Jeff Hardy defending the TNT title, he will definitely have a better shot because he actually has the skill and the repertoire.
Good God, man.
To defend. I'm defending my boy Jeff Hardy. Let me speak. To defend that TNT title. And that's where there's levels to this. That's where AEW tries to make Darby Allin be like Jeff Hardy, but it's not going to work. And that's why Kenny gives him like Kenny, how long you gave him? Like 2 to 3 months to defend the title?
3 months at most.
Okay, Kenny was being nice. I give him a month. Like I give him 1 month.
Honestly, that's a lot more of a fairer assessment than me. You know what I mean?
Yours is shorter.
Yeah, yours is shorter. That's why I'm saying it's a lot fair. You know, because that's how. Listen, this is not a knock towards Darby Allin, right?
It's not.
That's how much I like. Think, yo, real talk, Abba, real talk. Right now, right? Let me tell you who he's up against. Brian Cage, right? Even if he gets past Brian Cage, you kind of anticipate that Brody Lee will probably maybe come back, just maybe. Okay.
You still got Cody.
All right. You still have Cody. You still have a Murder Hawk. Okay. You still have that guy.
You still got
Come on, man. Yeah, you still have Ricky Starks, but you still have Murder Hawk, bro.
Yeah.
He's still out there.
Oh, for and me, Lance Archer.
That's Murder Hawk, bro. Come on, man.
This is, guys, I think we're forgetting something.
His real name, honestly.
I think we're forgetting something here.
All I'm saying is this. If you're telling me that Darby Allin beats all of those guys, I want to know how he beats all those guys.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I just don't think that he's ready enough, because if he beats all those guys, then he's a main eventer. Then he's he's world title material. I want to know how you go about doing that. How do you get to that point? Because real talk, on the same, to me, he's on the same level as Orange Cassidy.
That's
same level. From all I'm getting out of this is one thing, that you guys don't feel like there's any more room for growth or improvement from Darby Allin. Like, this is the best he will get.
To be honest with you, to be honest with you, in my opinion, I'm not saying like that's his ceiling. It's just like, I need to see more. Same thing like Orange Cassidy.
See, let me help you out here, Ricardo. In terms of his ceiling, he can get better, right?
Absolutely.
But Abba, I'll tell you this straight up right now. All those guys I just mentioned, they haven't reached their ceiling either. And their ceiling right now is higher than Darby Allin's ceiling. So if Darby Allin is getting better, he's not getting better, right, to eventually surpass them, right? Because this is Darby Allin. These are those guys. As he's moving up, they're moving up. So I don't think he can actually catch up to them unless they all fucking retire today.
Oh, jeez.
Just me.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
And you want to know why that is? That's the environment that AEW builds around them. You know, that's the environment they've invited around them. It's that everyone literally is getting better and better and better. Oh, and by the way, Pac is coming back. So you're telling me that Darby Allin is good enough to beat Pac? Or hell no.
Under the right circumstances, this is pro wrestling after all.
Now, what I'm saying is like, Kenny brought up all those names. You feel me? And Pac is all the way up there. You feel me? That's what I'm saying.
You know, like guys, we don't want to see Kenny Omega versus Pac just yet, right? Because obviously we have Kenny
seen
Omega. We have seen it, but it was great the first time. Can you imagine the level of greatness we're going to see the second time around. But needless to say, since we all anticipate that KO is going to win, the AEW championship, right? Very soon, sooner rather than later, right? Everybody's being like, yo, Pac. But no, not yet. Okay. Pac might very well just go for the TNT title. And if he does, with Darby Allin as a champion, let me ask you a question. Who would you rather see right now as the TNT champion, Pac or Darby Allin?
Pac, easy.
No question, it's Pac.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And it's because he's here and Darby Allin is here, right? As Darby Allin gets better, he's not getting closer to Pac because Pac is getting better too, bro. He ain't sleeping.
Well, yeah, these two have potential to both be world champions one day.
Exactly. But Pac is a lot closer. As a matter of fact, a lot of people will argue that Pac right now can be world champion.
Of course he can. Right. With the level of talent this man possesses, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. Let me ask you a question, Abba. Can Murder Hawk be a champion? Lance Archer, can he be a world champion?
Absolutely.
Yes, he can. Right. Brody Lee, can he be a world champion?
Absolutely.
Yes. Cody, can he be a world champion?
Yes.
Absolutely.
These are all the guys that are in Darby Allin's division.
But you're acting like Darby Allin can never get better past a certain point. Like he could definitely reach that level one day.
Right. He could definitely reach that. Okay.
It's all about growth and evolution.
That's a very fair assessment.
Let me tell you something. Maybe I don't know as much as you guys. Well, I know I don't know as much about Jeff Hardy's evolution like you guys do, because I wasn't watching 20 years ago. But I still pose the question to you. 20 years ago, during Hardy's early stages, when a few years after upon teaming with Matt in the Hardy Boys and breaking off in his own in 2002, I believe.
Yes.
Did you guys feel that Jeff Hardy would have eventually gotten to the point of like the star power of?
Yes.
Well, just wait. The star power of who?
Rock. Guess what?
Guess what? I got him, Kenny.
No. Hold up. But guess when he reached it?
I'm sure there were critics about it.
Hold up. When the guys that he fought early on retired, that's when Jeff Hardy finally broke out. It wasn't because, Taker was still dominant in 2008 or 2007, 2008. And that's why Jeff Hardy
still winning world titles in that time period.
But here's what Abba, this is what he means. When Jeff Hardy back in 2002 and during his singles run, Austin was done. The Rock was done. Triple H took a nosedive and Taker took a back seat. That's what he's saying. The main event stars that dominated in the Attitude Era has either retired or took a backseat to allow the talent to grow, which worked for Jeff Hardy. Like bro, during the singles run, his first legitimate main event was against The Undertaker in a ladder match for the WWE title. That was a young Jeff Hardy, and that's when Taker knew, like, yo, he's here with the big boys. He's here with the big dogs, despite he gave Taker a run for his money. And to be honest with you, that was the first match Taker's ever been in a ladder match, and it was with Jeff Hardy, right?
Right, but I'm getting the feeling from you guys that
for Darby Allin's case, no, I got you, bro. For Darby Allin's case, he's in a situation where here's how it's different from Jeff Hardy. He's in a situation where everyone in AEW is in their prime. Everybody. And I mean everybody. All the guys that we mentioned, that Kenny mentioned, like Cody Rhodes, Pac, Murder Hawk, Ricky Starks.
Right. That's all the next generation. That's the next generation of AEW talent.
That's true.
They're going to be taking the mantle from guys we see today.
Yes, but what I'm saying is they're in their prime now, or Darby Allin is just starting to be in his prime.
So Darby Allin can only get better from here.
But he could be better
along with everybody else.
No, he can't be along with everybody else, because that's why there's levels to this. Why that's like, imagine like this: if Ricky Starks was TNT champion, he'll bring more value to the TNT champion than Darby Allin, because he has charisma and he's a better wrestler.
Darby Allin has loads of charisma too. I don't know.
No, not better. No, not better. No, when I'm in terms of charisma, Ricky Starks has a little higher ceiling, because he could talk on the mic. That's the difference. Darby Allin can't do that. Darby Allin can't talk on the mic as Ricky Starks. And Ricky Starks is decent. And that's the difference between those two. Ricky Starks is a better wrestler than Darby Allin. And Ricky Starks is a better could talk better on the mic, despite having with Taz or not. That's the difference. And that's how Ricky Starks can bring
better
value.
wrestler. What match have you seen with Ricky Starks?
No,
that's
I'm
Darby
saying
Allin.
I'm
That's
talking
better than
no.
Darby Allin.
Here's what makes my point about Ricky Starks. I'm using only Ricky Starks as an example.
I got it.
Ricky Starks could go toe to toe with Cody because I'm talking about toe to toe, right? Because like I said, the past 3 matches I saw with Darby Allin, that nigga was carried, right? You can make a case with this one. He was carried. Let
me say something real quick. Abba, you're right. He can, eventually get to that main event level point, even if he doesn't surpass, Cody, or like he can eventually get to that main event level talent. Okay.
Yeah.
But even then, there'll be somebody better. There's always somebody better for where Darby Allin is going. And I just don't see him, right, being a cornerstone of the franchise. If there's somebody out there that's always better than you, and I've said this in the past, and I'll say it again, AEW always rewards the talent. Always. At the end of the day, right? If you have a title on your hands and there's somebody out there better than you, eventually you'll lose. You'll lose that title. And right now, for a fact, we can say that yeah, Darby Allin will have the title, but how long do you really expect him to hold on to it? Be honest. Like,
listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what the hell AEW is thinking here. What they got in the works. I don't know if they're gonna have him hold it for a month before dropping into either Cage Starks or somebody else like Brody Lee. I don't even know if it's gonna be for 3 months, 6 months. I don't know. It's whatever they have up their sleeve. So, and I guess we have to wait and see on that.
All right,
so that's that. Yeah, we will. Anyways, where was I? Yes. We had Young Bucks against FTR for the AEW Tag Team Championships. We finally got the match we wanted to see for 4 long years, and we were not disappointed one bit. At least I wasn't. An excellent tag team match here, the best match of the entire show. Story here was Matt Jackson's knee. FTR was targeting that body part throughout the match, skipping ahead to the end, of course, because there were too many great spots to recall here. Cash Wheeler got up on the apron and wanted to hit a springboard 450 splash, which was impressive from him, but he missed. And Matt Jackson nails the super kick for the win, and Young Bucks are your new AEW Tag Team Champions. Can't say enough great things about the match. Kenny Omega came out and embraced their title win along with them. They all celebrated, while Hangman Page is seen off into the distance, watching them celebrate in the ring and never actually joins them and embraces them. That was loved the storytelling aspect of this whole thing. And the match, like I said, can't say enough great things about it. It was awesome.
Yeah, the match was great. It was fantastic. This is par for the course. Another day at the office, right?
Yeah, for both teams, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, but there is a question behind this, and that's I don't know. Despite everything that I just said, do you guys feel that the Young Bucks' value as a tag team have they downgraded?
This is very interesting. I would say this. The win definitely didn't feel like a win that we should have gotten like I feel like we should have gotten tears, right? Like real impactful tears, but we didn't get that. We got happy. Yeah, we got okay, yeah, that's great. We all knew that was going to happen because who in the hell thought that the Bucks were going to lose, right? I mean, from the stipulation of this match,
right?
It was
the fact
so
that it was
obvious.
A rehash of Cody's storyline with Jericho last year at the Full Gear event. Like it wasn't going to happen.
See, exactly, and that's my problem with this whole thing.
It was a giveaway.
Yes, it was a giveaway. So how do you expect me to feel when the Bucks won? Yeah, it was a great match. Like if I felt nothing inside just because of the stipulation and just because I knew exactly what the hell was going to happen. With Cody, at least there was an unpredictable factor to it, right? And then when Cody lost, he's never challenging for the world title again. Oh shit. The Cody Rhodes. So for me, I just think, that's obviously not going to happen twice to the Elite, right? So the outcome was foregone. Was a foregone conclusion. So I do felt like that it left a lot to be desired when they actually won. You know, it diminished. It definitely greatly the feud diminished the value of the win. You know,
Because they could have dragged it out maybe just a little bit more.
right. Like I mean I no, actually no. I feel like if the stipulation changed to like I don't know anything else, other than if we lose, we're never challenging for the world title again. That to me just seems a bit too much, even for AEW to be like, yeah, who's here, because I mean you've built your whole tag team around the Bucks, and then to have them lose at this time, like, that makes absolutely no sense, right? So for me, I'm just thinking about it along those lines. I don't want to say they've diminished as a tag team, but my God, that win does not feel like this is a culmination of like a year and a half work. It doesn't feel like that. It just felt like a title win, a regular ass title win. The Bucks won the title. They're finally champions. So what? That's what I feel. So what?
In terms of the match was good. It was really, really good in my estimation. Like, with the Young Bucks winning, I do agree with Kenny. See, like, it was meant to be. Like, it wasn't. It was very predictable because like it kind of diminished the build earlier on, because like when the FTR came in and they were trying to go against the Young Bucks, we was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a fire ass rivalry. We did because we was like the most hungriest team in the free agent market in terms of FTR was going against the best team in AEW in terms of the Young Bucks. But as time went on, it was going towards that route. It was going upward, and then the match happens. Then they put the stipulation in it, and then we like, damn, okay. It became a predictable win for the Young Bucks. So to the question, like, has the Young Bucks value downgraded? I would say no, due to the fact, in terms of the Young Bucks, yes, Kenny is right in terms of it felt like a regular win, but still at the end of the day, they're still the best tag teams in the world, the number one in the wrestling world in terms of the Young Bucks. Like, which team in any company is better than the Young Bucks? The value that they bring to AEW on how they uplift the tag team division. I don't think any team could bring that level of value in a tag division better than the Young Bucks today, right? Now, back then, when like, if it was like, I've been 10 years ago, like, because they were rookies 10 years ago. Because I remember their first match in TNA. That's when I first saw them, right? I didn't watch them in the Indies, but I saw them against in TNA. When they were in TNA, they were fire when they were rookies, and over time they steadily grew, and they made the TNA tag team division at the time even better when they were rookies. Everywhere they went, they brought more value. So now they're in AEW as flourished tag team, and they're the number one in the world still to this day. So in terms of their value, yes, it was a regular win based on what Kenny said. You had no feeling towards it because it made to be a predictable win. But their value still hasn't gone down. They're still the best team in the world and AEW. So someone got to take that title off them until it says otherwise. If there was one thing that I would have to say to someone to take the title from them, it has to be a team that's skyrocketed, that we might not see something different from a different tag team, like maybe from Pride and Powerful or Private Party or the Jungle Express, something that we might see differently that we didn't see. So in terms of AEW, I say AEW, in terms of Young Bucks, the Young Bucks could peel that from the other tag teams to bring something different to the table. So like I said, Young Bucks value did not downgrade, still the best team in the world. That's all I got to say.
Right. I mean, yeah, they do have a lot of good options towards who they could stack up against the Young Bucks for a chance at the tag team titles and possibly win from them. And to go back to the whole question, I do have to agree with Ricardo that I don't think that they're downgraded. I think the loss, not the loss, but rather the win was diminished severely. Significantly, I would say, due to the predictable nature of it, just due to the added stipulation at the last minute of, if they lose, they never get another shot at the titles. But at the same time, like it was still a nice huge win for them. Like everybody felt it. It was just, if anything else, I wouldn't blame it on the performers themselves. I would blame it on AEW for even thinking of considering that stipulation.
We remember moments from matches, not so much who won, who lost, right? But moments,
Yeah.
right? And there was not one moment in this match that I remember 10 years from now. You know what match I will remember, although? Kenny Omega and Paige versus the Bucks. I remember that. But this match, I won't remember anything, because I think the build and the stipulation, they could have done a lot. They could have done it a lot better to, kind of bring it home. But yeah, like that's just how I feel about it, And if you think that diminishes the Bucks to some degree, then you're smoking something, because the Bucks are still the Bucks, right? But this left a lot to be desired. And we don't say that about the Bucks ever, right?
I think for you wanted to see more from the Bucks in terms of this match specifically between FTR and
not
them.
not the match itself, because I'm not stupid, right? Like the match itself was great. It was fantastic, but I just don't feel like I just feel like the stipulation just suffocated it and made it into something that it should have never been about. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the Bucks not ever challenging for the tag titles. Who the fuck would do that? You basically base your entire, not even division, your entire promotion around these guys, and not have them challenge for the work. Like, dude, what? That's like saying Kenny Omega, if he loses, can never challenge for the AEW World Title. What? Who wants that?
Yeah, exactly. And if you honestly think that, going back to last year's match that they did the stipulation with Cody in his match with Jericho for the world title, despite Cody losing that match, for a fact, for damn sure he's not done with that world title. They're gonna come back to that storyline where they're gonna reintroduce the stipulation. If Cody needs to win a certain match against somebody, and in order to do that he has to go against Jericho. Okay.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
exactly.
That's for him to, just go through Jericho in order to get that. That
comes full circle right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And in the main event, we had Jon Moxley against Eddie Kingston in an I Quit match for the AEW World Title. These two killed it here, in my opinion. Wasn't as in-your-face crazy like we've seen other hardcore matches in the past. But this is honestly a bit more subtle and nuanced with the spots. But I liked that they did that. In my opinion, you should change it up and not give us the same type of match, hardcore match, more or less with different faces involved. We had chairs, barbed wire baseball bats, thumbtacks, and such items involved. Onto the finish, Moxley won after wrapping barbed wire around his arm and choking out Eddie for an extended period of time before he eventually said, "I quit," and Moxley retains the World Championship. Great main event here. After the match, Kenny Omega comes back out again to confront Moxley, and that is how the show went off the air, pointing to this feud as something to look forward to in the next few weeks, heading into the winter months. And we all know what the outcome will be for that impending feud.
Do we?
Oh, you have your doubts?
I do, actually. Because
say the question, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Alan.
Right. I wanted to lead off into that, but I kind of pretty much gave my results already. But
all right,
is Jon Moxley what's gonna be the outcome in your guys' opinions on the Jon Moxley Kenny Omega storyline?
So, let me help you out before Kenny goes. The correct question should be: should Jon Moxley lose to Kenny Omega for the world title? Go ahead, Kenny, because that's a very interesting question.
see, you guys have to think about this now, because it's not just who's better, right? Like that has nothing to do with this question whatsoever, right? Because we all know Kenny Omega is better than Jon Moxley. Okay. The real question is he box office? Can he sell the tickets? Can he sell the pay-per-views? Can he get people to buy in into Revolution? Right? Is he box office? And I know he's box office, but is he better at that than Jon Moxley? I think that's a real question here. And if you don't feel like Kenny Omega is ready, and if you don't feel like the fans have really gotten to see who the cleaner is, then you might not make that move. Just like AEW was quick, very quick to have what's his name? I can't believe I forgot his name. MJF. Just like they were quick to have MJF, lose to Jon Moxley when we all thought it was the right time and it was a foregone conclusion that MJF was going to win. They changed it right on us. So I think we should be a little bit careful here, just because we all believe that they're going to give the title to Kenny Omega because he's undeniable, right? Like the guy is. Who why wouldn't you want him as a champion? However, AEW has been very calculated in their decisions, at least when it comes to Jon Moxley and protecting him.
Very good, by the way.
I say it's the right time, but I do have my reservations about this.
All right, so I'm gonna answer the original question: should Jon Moxley lose to Kenny Omega?
I did answer the question.
No, you changed the question. Technically,
no. I said if and only if, right? They believe he's box office enough, then yes, Jon Moxley should lose to Kenny Omega.
Then that's on me. My fault.
Thinking on the mindset of the company itself.
Yeah,
yes.
Gotcha. About it. Okay.
I think he. This is a head scratcher. That's like saying should The Rock lose to Stone Cold Steve Austin? That's mad hard. But in terms of Jon Moxley, no. The answer is no, because he shouldn't lose. He shouldn't lose to Kenny Omega, right? Because both of them bring the same box office appeal, no matter the pay-per-view or event that AEW has, right? Like, we had an earlier conversation about the AEW games, right? Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega hyped up the AEW games as a presentation because we all value Kenny in terms of AEW. He's a businessman first, wrestler second in terms of AEW's business, right? But Jon Moxley is straight up wrestling. Right? That's the number one promotion which you want to uplift, besides the business aspects, right? In terms of Jon Moxley, the way he conducts himself as AEW champion is just what he represents or what AEW brings to the table. What Jon Moxley represents is like, as the number one box office attraction to AEW, he represents AEW in a way that like, this ain't WWE. This ain't TNA. This ain't Ring of Honor. This ain't New Japan. This is AEW, right? Do I think Kenny Omega bring the same repertoire to the table? Absolutely, 100%.
But you think he's missing something that Jon Moxley has?
Yeah, because like sometimes you need that dog in you to tell the other companies like, fuck you, and fuck you. We ain't like y'all, right? And like Jon Moxley has been having that consistency ever since AEW has brought him to the table. Jon Moxley.
I honestly think going back to WWE, people were
no.
He was getting that name of being like box office attraction.
No. I'm talking about when AEW started. I'm not counting him yeah, exactly. I'm counting him when he first started. Like,
I'm just saying where he got that name value back then, all those years ago, during his run there.
Yeah, agreed. Like think about it. When remember the debut of AEW? Remember that right? When Jon Moxley came out, the crowd went fucking nuts. Like they went fucking nuts. They were like, like the level of Kenny Omega's fans, like it was like all regular, but when Jon Moxley that came out, the level went up, right? They say the atmosphere changed, and like for Jon Moxley to become his world champion, he has represented AEW as world champion since day one, and he lived through that business and upheld it to a higher standard, better than anyone in the company, as far as I'm concerned. So in terms of Jon Moxley, related to Kenny's question, of course, as like the box office attraction, Jon Moxley shouldn't lose to Kenny Omega because, to be honest with you, Jon Moxley rivals Kenny Omega in that atmosphere, and arguably better than Kenny Omega. So for Jon Moxley, there's like he's good. He doesn't need to lose the AEW world title. Oh, and I want to get back. I won't say in terms of right now, no. Next year, maybe. I'll be honest with you. Next year, like in 2021, maybe. But
maybe that's when they'll have the match. Maybe that's when they'll have the match.
Yes, maybe. I agree with you on that. Maybe. But in terms of this year, no.
Okay. Heard both your points. Solid takes. I'm going to have to disagree, though. I think that Kenny Omega can absolutely be on the same level as Jon Moxley is as a box office attraction, and maybe even eclipse him soon enough. Because if you think about it, we're basing this off of a few things with Jon Moxley. Moxley was a name long before AEW was even a thing. He got that box office attraction identity to him going back to WWE days, because people loved him. He was loved. He was adored by so many of the fan base and the core audience that WWE had and catered to since the days of Dean Ambrose. Like we're talking, like, okay, not us. True. But honestly, we're in the minority there when it comes to us not really giving two shits about who Ambrose was. We weren't a fan of his wrestling style and so on and so forth. His character was wacky, whatever. But he was someone that the people loved and adored.
Okay. I kind of have to disagree with you on that.
You don't think he was loved and adored?
No. And here's what I mean. No, I'm not saying he wasn't loved. I'm not saying he wasn't loved. But I'm like, you're bringing up Dean. I'm talking about like the atmosphere in terms of the show appreciation to Dean Ambrose is different from Jon Moxley.
No, I agree.
You
with
feel
that,
me?
But I agree with that.
So
but
like,
I'm just saying
and that's
what he
I'm
did
saying.
as Ambrose carried on into his run.
Right,
in AEW.
exactly, and it evolved into what we know as AEW
but
now.
It only got better from there. Exactly. Yeah. Like definitely. He brought, like, hey, you said it yourself at the very end of the Double or Nothing show last year after the Jericho Omega match. Moxley came out. That was his very first appearance before a live audience. He just was fresh off leaving WWE as Dean Ambrose. He had that star power already. Yep. He carried on into his role as Moxley in AEW, and it only grew from there.
Yeah, right.
So you can't say he didn't have anything heading into AEW. And I do think that Kenny Omega, he has not entered that main event level role as a mainstay in that kind of position. He's been flirting he was in a tag team with Hangman Page, won the tag team titles. Okay. He was still considered one of the top stars of the company, no question, and one of their biggest representatives. But, and this is a big one, Omega did not, like I said just earlier, he was not a mainstay in the main event scene. He was not carried on into that next level, presented in that next level on AEW Dynamite. Now, we're absolutely going to see that. He's going to be feuding with Moxley directly for the world title, contending for it. He's going to win that title. And then watch how much more he's going to be able to do for the company.
Okay, but like, what? Would you have that same energy? Would you have that same energy when Jon Moxley and when Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley have their rivalry, right? Would you say would you have that same energy? Because like, if you really think about it, Kenny Omega never actually had a true rival. Never.
What do you mean by that?
I'm talking about like someone on the same level as him that could talk the talk, walk the walk. Who could do that other than Jon Moxley?
Hangman Page could.
No, he can't. Well,
with all due respect to Adam Page,
He cannot.
I don't
No,
think
he can't.
he can match Moxley on that level just yet.
He can't.
However,
Well, box office attraction, that's true. Hangman
No,
Page is a few steps below that.
I'm
but
talking about.
even on the mic, man, he can't.
He can't. Like
Okay.
that's
Toe
what
to
I'm
toe
saying.
with Jon Moxley.
He can't.
Yeah,
What I'm
there's
saying
very
is
few people
like
that can do that.
when the rivalry starts and when it builds, I'm talking about promo work. I'm talking about the backstage segments. I'm talking
Oh,
about
yo,
how,
yo,
how to
see,
carry yourself through the rivalry.
for the reasons that you're mentioning that Jon Moxley is legit, it's the same reason Kenny Omega is legit, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So the thing is, should Jon Moxley lose to Kenny Omega? Okay,
Should he?
like if he loses to Kenny Omega, right? Would it be the worst thing in the world? Absolutely not. As a
No.
matter of fact, I'd rather lose to Kenny Omega than anyone, right?
Exactly.
There you go.
However, should he lose,
Should he lose?
it almost seems like do I have to? Does Jon Moxley have to lose his title to Kenny Omega? The answer
Yeah.
is no. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to lose, the his title to Kenny Omega because he's just as good, right? He's not better than Kenny Omega, but we all
That's
agree
right.
that well, not maybe in terms of not
No, of
in
course,
the
not
ring,
wrestling.
but
Yeah.
but in terms of the mic work, in terms of how he's able to walk the walk with his talk. I mean, no one is better than Kenny Omega, right? But Jon Moxley has really, really evolved in the ring into something great, right? So
Right.
so to me, it's almost like, yeah, Kenny Omega's on another level in the ring, but Jon Moxley, he's on a level himself, right? That he's able to compete with Kenny Omega, right? Kenny Omega wouldn't have to like drop down to Jon Moxley's level to be like, okay, yeah, I got to drop my wrestling skills significantly down because you can't carry your own weight, right? So to me, it almost seems like, should Jon Moxley lose his title? Like, does he have to lose it right now because he's so much less of a talent than Kenny Omega? The answer is no. He
Hey,
doesn't necessarily have to lose it.
I'm just saying, all I'm saying is this. They're telling a story off of Omega and Hangman Page. They're not done with
Yes.
that. The
No,
first
they're
match
not.
that they had
Mhm.
at Full Gear, when they opened the show, it was just a glimpse of what's yet to come.
But
And this time for the
here's
world, and next time for the world title.
okay. It's for the world title. But here's what I think me and Kenny's also trying to say about Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. When you have two, because obviously I'm gonna compare this rivalry, but it's for a reason. Not saying it's like it's on top of each other. Like I'm gonna
All right.
let me use Stone Cold and The Rock for example, right? The two box office attractions in WWE, right? And Rock and Austin, and you got two box office level attraction in Moxley and Omega, right? When you have two box office attractions, whoever wins, it's a win-win for the company,
Of course.
right? It's a win-win, right? Due to the question, should Jon Moxley lose to Kenny Omega? Obviously, the answer is no, because we have two superstars that could bring value, much more value to the company in two different ways. Moxley to Austin, Omega to Rock. Same shit, right? So like in terms of Moxley and Omega, I feel like in terms of the story, like you said, Alba, they started last year. The story is there. You started from that, you build your way up, you see who's the better man.
Everything comes full circle.
Exactly. They're practically fucking rivals as far as I'm concerned.
Can I just let me just preface my comments, right?
Yeah.
And I know maybe it's a bit too late for that, but let me just say, the right person to win this match is Kenny Omega. Okay.
We agree.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I think we all know that he's going to win, right? We all want him to win, right? But at the same token, we have to, and this is where we're coming from, Bobo. We have to acknowledge that Jon Moxley being champion and Kenny Omega being champion, those two things aren't far off from each other, right?
They're not.
Like it's not a complete drop off in a sense that Jon Moxley's title reign will be far less than what Kenny Omega is. All we're just simply acknowledging is that both of them are so lethal in their approach to the game that even if Jon Moxley retains the title, right?
Mm-hmm.
It won't be that bad because you're not giving up Jon Moxley to attain an even insurmountable echelon of a title reign. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
not the drop off isn't that far off in terms of the fans' attention. You know what I mean? Like it's like think about it. And this is the easiest way I can break this down. If Kenny Omega wins the title, right? Will that consistently lead AEW's ratings into 1 million consistently every single week?
Not
I
with
don't
NXT
believe
on the
that.
same night.
Right. I don't believe that to be the case. You know what I mean? So I think it's still going to be around the same number. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like they're both this like yeah, we acknowledge that Jon Moxley is, is 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 better. I'm sorry, is less of a talent in the ring than Kenny Omega. We acknowledge that. But that's not the difference maker in deciding who the champion is. With all due respect to Kenny Omega, that's not the difference maker. Is can you put asses in seats? Can you get those fans to buy in into your pay-per-views? Can you get people to watch on Wednesday nights? The answer is I don't see a shift, right? With Kenny Omega being champion. And that's all I'm acknowledging. Is that if you still have Jon Moxley as the champion, there's no difference in the ratings. There's no difference in the sales of tickets and pay-per-view numbers. Because both of them are virtually the same when it comes to impact.
Right. No, I definitely agree with your points. Like I do agree with your points completely. Like I don't think there would be a huge shift. I mean, maybe that's not how I was looking at it when I was giving my arguments on the matter. I was looking at it maybe as like the quality of the title reign and like
yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, the quality of the title reign. Oh, definitely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, I cannot wait, man.
Ooh,
Oh my goodness.
And this feud is going to be so much fun to see. So I can't wait.
Because I think for the first time ever, we have somebody on the same level in terms of mic skills, in terms of wrestling, that can actually, give it to Jon Moxley, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, yeah.
I'll just end it right here, bro. AEW has their Rock in Austin. That's all I'm saying. They have it. They have it, bro.
No debate there, man. No debate there.
They have it.
I mean, listen,
you know what it is? That's fucking scary, Abba.
You guys fucking.
Ricardo,
I hear this right now. You guys are singing Jon Moxley's praises like never before,
bro.
See, here's the thing.
This is such a different tune.
Scary.
It is because I mean, like the guy, like we actually see the real Jon Moxley, not the fucking Dean Ambrose that was.
These feuds with MJF and Eddie Kingston have done wonders for this man.
Oh yeah.
Because before then, we were not exactly too big on the title reign.
Exactly.
Bro.
True. And that's another reason. And listen, that's another reason why you kind of have to really think about Jon being champion. Maybe sticking it out with him longer. Just because. Well, and to make matters worse, you haven't finished business with Adam Hangman Page.
Right.
So if maybe Page costs this guy the championship, we don't know.
Maybe
we don't know what would happen, but
maybe.
it's likely than not, right? That Page causes KO that's the title. So we'll see. We'll wait. But it's definitely interesting, man.
This is definitely interesting. This is great for wrestling, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They got 2 franchise stars. I'm so happy for that.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see how they present it on television and what they go forward with it. But we'll leave it at that for today. Thanks for checking out another edition of Extra, courtesy of the Wrestling Hypothesis podcast this week. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram for any news updates we post on there, as well as any updates on our weekly show and the status of that. We will be back next time for episode 44 this upcoming Sunday. So until then, peace out, guys. Take care.
Later.